What up, YouTube? It's your boy Carter TV. You know I'm back with a story. The story's about it's about a young man named Jacob. Jacob grew up in a fucked up environment that it turned him cold in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Since he was a young boy, at the age of 6, he lost his daddy to gun violence. His mother was a drug addict, and his aunts sexually assaulted. Well, let me not say that assaulted, but molested him. And his uncle beat on him. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't really have a solid support loving system. You feel me? After the officers and them found out his mother was crackhead, he went to go live with his aunt and uncle, and his aunt molested him and his uncle beat on him. His other cousins, they basically didn't want no parts of what he was going through. So at the end of the day, he toughed out his situation. Living with his aunt and uncle, they put him in the basement, separated him from the kids, and they treated him like dog shit. They really treated him like dog shit. Whatever was, they fed him leftovers. Sometimes they even fed him dog food, cat food. They rarely let him bathe himself. He started a new school with his cousins. It got so bad for him that his own cousins, started to disown him in school, making fun of him, bullying him. It got to the point where the teachers intervened in the situation, and ACS was called. And when ACS was called on him, the aunt and uncle tried to make it seem like he was a clean kid. They got him showered, put him in fresh new clothes, and they forced him to say things like, "Oh, I'm good here. I live in a good environment. Aunt treat me good," or this and that and the third. So, with that being said, ACS was, just trying to follow up on it, and they noticed bruises on him, and he basically lied and told them like, "Oh, that happened at school. I got into little fights here and there." And the teachers also told ACS he was being bullied by his own cousins in him. And, what triggered the whole situation was when one of the cousins heard him saying he was being bullied, and one of the cousins was like, "He not being bullied by me, he being bullied by such and such," basically telling on another cousin in the household. So when ACS lady looked at him, she looked at Jacob, was like, "Is that true?" And Jacob was just like, "No, it's all right, it's all good." So ACS lady couldn't do nothing there in a sense. And from that situation, Jacob had to learn quick. He had to learn how to defend himself. He had to learn how to take care of himself. So he ended up not leaving the household. As time grew on, he met another young boy by the name of Sam. Sam was like in the same position he was in, but his family loved him, but they disregarded the fact that he was always in trouble in school because he was being bullied himself. So Jacob and Sam became close friends. And Sam was always asking like, "Why you always smell? Why your always clothes look bad?" And Jacob didn't really know like about bathing. When you're a young kid, you don't think about bathing. You know what I'm saying? You don't think about smelling good. You just think about going outside and play and being with friends. So Sam basically told him like, you should, take care of yourself, bro. Like keep your clothes clean. And when he went to Jacob's house, Jacob's family was just like, "What's wrong with him?" And Sam was just basically like, his household was not good. They treat him messed up. He gets bullied at school like me. And the mother basically ignored Sam and what he was saying. So Sam basically was just like, he gave Jacob some clothes. He gave Jacob soap. He let Jacob take showers at his crib sometimes. He even spent the night at Jacob's house, and he ate good. And when the aunt and them found out he was staying over there, they kind of like barred him in the crib. So what happens now is during the time of being locked up in the crib, he was doing push-ups. He was, trying to basically get himself up, get his weight up. And when his uncle would come downstairs to see what he was doing, he would hide. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want his uncle to know that he was building himself up and learning how to fight and learn how to basically how to defend himself. So basically the uncle would come down with food, little foods here and there, and try to be his friend and shit, but low-key beat him up at the same time. So when he got mad, uncle would come down there and beat him up. And one time, he just wasn't with it. He was in the process of working out, and uncle came downstairs, and Jacob had a wrench in his hand, one of the uncle's tools. And when uncle was beating on him, he grabbed the wrench and he cracked uncle on the side of his face. and then he beat him in the head. He hit him in the head like 3 times, knocking the uncle out, leaving him in a pool of blood, leaving him there. After that incident, the uncle woke up like disoriented, all fucked up, and he was looking at Jacob, and Jacob was looking at him. He was like, "Yo, what happened to me?" Jacob looked at him and was like, "I don't know," but he lost a lot of blood and he was woozy, so he helped him upstairs. And the aunt was like, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" Jacob was like, "I woke up to him like this." Now, mind you, Jacob was beat up and bruised himself, but the aunt did not care. The aunt did not care whatsoever. She basically told, attention on the uncle, which was her boyfriend and shit. And the kids was just like, "Oh, what happened?" One of the kids was like, "Yo, you did this, didn't you? You did this, didn't you?" And when one of the kids tried to get him, Jacob got in his fighting stance and he backed up. And when the kid swung, he stepped back and uppercut him, boom, right in his mouth, and he sat him down. And when the sister saw it, she was just like shocked, like where he learned to fight. So when the older cousin seen it, he was like, "All right." He backed up. He was like, "Oh, you hit me, you hit me, you hit me." And I was like, "Get back in the basement," lock the basement, and locked him back downstairs. Now what happens is time moves on from that. Jacob was about 15, 16 and in high school. He needs money basically to take care of himself because at home ain't doing it for him. So he decides to get into the streets life. You know what I mean? He leave one night he didn't come home back to his own house, and he found an abandoned building to stay in, and he just was staying there. There was a couple bums in there, but they was on different floors. So what Jacob do, decides to build a little fort for himself to keep himself there. And he was doing that for about a month or two, and then he was, going around to the local dealers asking them, "Yo, can I get a job? I need to make some money." And basically they was teaching him the ropes. It was another kid in school who was getting money, fresh as hell. And he was trying to be cool. Jacob was trying to be cool with him so he could be close and learn basically, but the boy wasn't feeling it and he started bullying Jacob, but they didn't know Jacob could fight. So a situation happened where they was about to be on the way to beat up Jacob just because they saw him, and then they saw Sam, which was his mans. And Jacob was, minding his business, bumping some music from his phone and shit. And Sam was calling out like, "Yo, Jacob, yo, Jacob." And they saw Sam and they tripped him. Now Jacob didn't hear. Jacob was jumping on the bus, and he actually caught wind of it when he was reaching out. He saw them. He jumped back off the bus and he ran over there. And the kid was like, "What you about to do, Jacob? You ain't about to do nothing. Mind your business before we beat you up next." Jacob dropped his bag and straight hit the kid. Boom! Knocked him out clean. And the boys was like, "Oh, shit." So one of the biggest boys jumped in it and got in the way. And then Sam got up and he had a metal pole close to him. He hit the kid in the back of the head. Boom! And then he started bashing him in his head with it, beating him in it. Now this kid that he was beating up was a D1 league football player. D1 league. Got beat so bad, he put him in a concussion. And he had to go to the hospital, and he had to miss the important game of his life. But that happened, and they wanted to wonder why it happened. So the kid family wanted to press charges. And his friends didn't want to say what happened. Because in the hood, you get caught for snitching, that's your ass. So the drug dealer that Jacob was working for, he found out that he beat up his top dog, and he was like, "Now you got to take his place. You got to take his place." And Jacob stood up, and he took his place. Prom came up. Sam and Jacob didn't have prom dates. So they went to prom together on some calm, cool, collective shit. It was just one girl that Jacob liked. She actually saw that Jacob was getting money. Jacob and Sam pulled up in a Lambo, styling, right? So the girls was like, "What?" Like shocked. So they all pressed up on them, and they had girls for the night. That night, Jacob and Sam lost their virginity. At the same time, Jacob fell in love with the girl. Right after high school, they was together for a little minute. Maybe I told you Jacob was getting money. When he was getting money, that's when the girl was just on his body because he was getting money. He was giving her money. That relationship ended fast when the girl found another nigga who was getting money and set Jacob to get robbed. Now Jacob was making a lot of money at this point. He's a drug dealer now. His family he ain't really have. His cousins and them ain't fuck with him like that because he was a drug dealer. And at this time, drug dealers got guns on him. Jacob didn't have a gun. Sam didn't have a gun. Sam wanted to be part of what Jacob was a part of, so he wanted to sell drugs with Jacob too. So now the situation that happened with Jacob and Sam was, the girl lined Jacob up. She told him to meet him at the hotel because she couldn't get out or go to babysitter because she had a baby, but the baby wasn't Jacob's. So Sam, she was like, all right, I'm gonna drop this money off and I'm gonna come meet you. She's like, no, you could bring it with you, you know, we could fuck and then you could leave right afterwards. So he was like, all right, bet, right? So boom, Jacob gets to the hotel, he got the duffel bag of money he's supposed to drop off and he's supposed to link up with Sam. Now in the bag is up over about 50 G's. It's about 50 G's and a little bit of work. You know what I'm saying? So the girl, she's texting like, oh, what room you in? So he basically tell her the room he in, and he get to the room, the girl's at the door, and he let her in. But when she's walking in, two dudes walking behind her, bum rushed the crib. Now she didn't know Jacob was behind the door. So when they bushed in, they grabbed him up. Come here, get on the floor, da-da-da-da. Stomped him out, beat him up. And then asked him where the money at. She like, Jacob, just tell him where the money is. He like, I ain't got no bread. If y'all gonna kill me, then kill me. He like, we'll kill your bitch. So he had a sore spot for Shorty. And in the bag was also a ring. He was gonna give her the ring and shit. So when they was going through the bag, Jacob got free and knocked one of the dudes down. Boom, started beating him up, right? So what happens now is he grabbed the gun and he shoot. Boom, he hit the other nigga with the bag. That was the first time Jacob shot the gun. Now what happens in this next part is the girl takes the lamp that's in the hotel room and smacks Jacob behind the head and knocking him out, right? And the two dudes is looking like, oh shit. The other dude like, yo bro, we gotta get up out of here, I got shot. We got the bag. They dropped the ring and Jacob is coming too. And he realizing he got robbed. You know what I'm saying? Shit went left and the girl lied to him. So broke his heart, left him heartless now. Like, he can't trust women at the end of the day. Shit real. So Sam hitting his phone all night. He wake up in the hotel the next morning realizing what just happened. Sam like, yo, where you been at all night? We supposed to make this drop. He's like, I got robbed. Shorty lined me up, bro. He's like, you serious, bro? What we gonna do now? So Jacob had a backup plan. He had a sacred little stash of money he could use for a rainy day, and that's what he went to. So Sam was like, yo, you good? Like, he like, I'm good, bro. We back to business. Come to find out, word got around the hood who the dudes was. And his uncle, who he beat up when he was a little younger kid, knew that Jacob was in the game. And he sent them. Took the bread, split it with the young girls, and he was splurging money. And the aunt basically was the head person in charge. The uncle basically knew the little niggas he could use. The aunt put the emotion, they took the bread and was splurging all around the hood with it. And Jacob left them when they ain't have nothing. So when he seen that they had money, he was kind of wondering like where they get money from. They splurging all over town, this and the third. And word got back that they was the people that lied him. You feel me? They was the ones that lied him and all that. So Jacob was mad, he was furious. And the plug was basically like, let that shit go. You gotta take an L, this and the third. So Jacob was looking like, motherfuckers keep betraying me. It's my own family, even Shorty did me dirty. Like, this shit for real, man. I can't trust nobody. So Sam was like, basically, bro, you got me, bro. That's all that matters. You got me, bro. So what happens now, time move on, you know, the same dudes who robbed Jacob tried to rob him again. They tried to rob him again. This time Jacob had it on him. He ended up shooting at the dudes and they ended up getting away. He was scared. So they go back to the uncle and was like, nah, he had a gun on him this time. He not with the shits no more, da-da-da-da-da. So the uncle had to think of another way to get him. The uncle was mad because he got beat up when he was younger and he left a scar on the uncle's forehead. The aunt was basically like, all right, we could let it go. We robbed him one time. We got money. We good. But it wasn't going down like that. The cousin, she became a lawyer and moved out the city. The brother, who was her older brother, he got into the street life. And he was with the plug, you know, the dude that was Jacob was working for. So basically, he was basically telling the plug, like, yo, leave Jacob to me. I'm an end dude. I don't give a fuck if he my cousin. He gonna die. He gonna die. Listen, in the third. So the plug was basically trying to, like, not let beef between them. He was just telling them, Jacob, like, yo, just do your own thing. I can't front you no more. So with that in mindset, Jacob is saying found another plug. They found somebody they could fuck with OT. They met with boy. They made business. They was OT for like 3 months, making money. Come back to the town, and they end up taking customers from the town too, making their own little moves and transactions. The plug heard about it, wasn't feeling it, so he stepped to them like, yo, y'all can't be doing it. You know, this is my town, this is my hood. Jacob wasn't going for none of that. Sam wasn't going for none of that. So what happens now is they end up killing boy on the spot. Boom, boom, killed him. That means Sam put a bullet in the boy's head. That was then. That was into him. His men that was with him was like shocked, like, cause they wasn't expecting that. They basically told him, niggas, y'all niggas work for me now. Y'all gonna get this money or y'all wanna be laying with your mans? They told him, we wanna get money. So they started fucking with him. Now, Jacob's cousin, who didn't know what was happening, was like puzzled, but they was like, yo, what happened to boy? Or he got killed? He was like, yeah, they didn't say who it was though. They said some new cats is in town and they was taking over. Mind you, these niggas been in town for a minute. So Jacob and Sam getting to the bread. They getting money. Jacob was more focused. Sam was more the party type because Sam drifted from the drug game and was all into taking drugs. He was popping pills, sniffing coke, partying with females all the time. Jacob was more on the, I want to take care of business. I want to make sure business is good for the long run. So during this time, Jacob is in his mid-20s. Him and Sam in their mid-20s. He meets a college girl. Now, this girl got a good head on her shoulders. You know what I mean? She going to be a lawyer and all this and all of that. Meet Jacob. Now, Jacob come off very aggressive to Shorty because due to his past, people been crossing him. And Shorty was just like, yo, you know, basically she was trying to talk to him. And he kind of brushed her off. Now, what happens now is 2 guys see Shorty walk into her car and they tried to rob her and rape her. Jacob heard what was going on. He went over there, beat dudes up, scared them off her, saved her life. And she was like, I wasn't expecting you to come save me. Like, the dude who brushed me off, and he was just like, I apologize for that, but you know, I come across people who they did me wrong. So, pardon me. You feel me? So boom, him and Shorty start linking up, having relationships. You know, he falling for her real quick. You know what I mean? This is basically her first serious relationship after college because she was dealing with somebody in high school. He basically told her about her past. She finds out later down the line he's a drug dealer, and she basically was just like, you should turn your drug money into profit money. He's like, put it into investments, and he didn't know nothing about investment. So she told him about investments. She told him how to drive. She helped him get his first car. She helped him, you know, basically get out of a ghetto environment into a better one. So they end up getting a house together. He put down for a house. They got a house together. He told her, you know, things she didn't know about the streets that she should be aware of. And she basically fell in love with this man because he genuinely loved her, treated her good, bought her stuff. You know, he was there for when she was, you know, in an emotional state with school. So they was madly in love with each other. But when his life of crime catches up to him and she gets a part of it, it becomes more serious than what it is. And what happens now is his cousin, who finds out that Jacob was the new head honcho in the town, he finds out his weaknesses is the girl. And at this time, the girl finds out she's pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Her homegirl talking. She like, girl, I think I might be pregnant. My period didn't come in a month. And she never told her friend who she was dealing with, but she just said she's in a serious relationship with somebody. And basically, she was just trying to get Jacob out the street life. You know what I'm saying? She was trying to get him out the street life before it got worse. You know what I'm saying? So Jacob was like, let me make some more bread and then I'm out. So before that could happen, the girl she was talking to was supposed to be her close friend, but that was a cousin's friend. That was a cousin's girl. So Jacob's cousin, right, his girlfriend was Jacob's girl's friend. They was friends and they was kind of like close. So the girlfriend basically told the cousin, was like, yeah, I think my homegirl got a new man and So the cousin was like, find out who he is, find out who he is. He must be some get money nigga. Must be some get money nigga. So, on the night they was out, Jacob and his girl, they ran across her friend. And she was like, oh, this is my friend, da-da-da. They was talking, this is my man, Jacob. And Jacob was like, hello, how you doing? And he was like, oh, babe, I'm gonna go start the car. So the girlfriend found out who Jacob was, told the cousin, and the cousin found out what was what. So boom, the cousin got a grudge against Jacob. How you got a grudge against your own family? He got a grudge for getting money, killing the plug, and beating up his dad. That made him mad. That made him want to kill Jacob. The sister basically told him to leave it alone. He didn't leave it alone. The sister ended up moving out of the town, living her own life. The mother, she didn't care what he did as long as he could, supply her with money and coke, because the mother turned to a cokehead. The dad, he turned into a drunk. He turned into a drunk, and basically he was just supporting their lifestyle. Basically what happens now is the cousin ends up linking up with Sam and trying to put the plug in Sam's ear about getting money together. So Sam been, MIA from Jacob, and Jacob been trying to reach out to Sam like, yo, let's make these moves. So with that being said, his girlfriend was basically like, yo, if your friend is MIA, 9 times out of 10, he probably got caught. He with some girl, or he just don't feel like being bothered. So Jacob had to learn how to do certain things on his own, but he got so used to being with a partner, he was doing stuff on his own. He was making business moves. He was also learning about investments. He was making a longer term money plan when he got with this girl. She never got the chance to tell him she was pregnant because Jacob's cousin decides to kidnap this girl. Jacob's cousin's girl, right? She lures the girl away. His cousin Mans and them snatch her up and they take her. And what happens now is the girlfriend, she comes to the crib and Jacob was like, what the fuck you doing here? My shorty ain't here. She drops off a note. He reads the note and then he grabs her by her hair like, what the fuck is this? She was like, Jacob, get off me, get off me. If you don't get off me, I'll make sure they kill her. Da-da-da. He pushes the girl into a gate. And the note basically said, bring about $1 million to this address or she dies. So Sam pulls up. He was like, yo, I ain't see you in a few days. Where the fuck you been at? This and that and the third, this and that and the third. He like, oh, I've been busy. You know me. What's going on, bro? So Jacob hands him the note. And he was like, what the fuck is this? So they kidnapped my girl, bro. They kidnapped my girl. He was like, so fucking what? You'll get another one. He said, hell no, bro. I love this girl. She actually doing right by me, nigga. He's out of all the women you've been around, and this only one I do right by you, nigga. Get money, get money, get money. Jacob noticed he kept doing this. He kept grabbing his nose. He had a habit. So Jacob picked up on it real quick, right? So Jacob realized his support wasn't there for his boy. And Jacob was making side business deals. He was getting all types of phone calls. Sam found out about it. He was mad because he was like, you doing all these business deals without me? And Jacob basically told him, he was like, listen, you wasn't around. I had to make other arrangements for myself. Plus, this is legit money I'm making. This ain't got nothing to do with you. This is my side thing. You got your own thing. When you was out parlaying, doing what you do, I ain't stop you. I ain't get involved. Don't get involved in my shit. So Sam was mad about that, and he was envying him because he was doing stuff without him. And what happens now is Sam knew where his girlfriend was. You know what I'm saying? Sam finds out where the girlfriend is, see her. And basically, the girlfriend that lined her up was like the girl pregnant. So, you know what I'm saying? Let him know, like, shit could get real. The girlfriend was basically trying to put the bug into the boyfriend's ear, like, let it be known, like, you know what I'm saying? So Sam was like, oh, shorty pregnant, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. So they sent Jacob another letter, you know what I mean? And basically saying, we got your bitch and your kid. Now, this is how Jacob found out his girlfriend was pregnant, and it made him furious. And he also remembered her saying, like, you got to move better in situations. And she always told him, like, I don't want to get caught up in your lifestyle. But if certain shit was to happen, just make sure, you know, I'm good. So he had to play that in the back of his head. and he had to really do what he had to do. So what he did was he copped some prop money, some fake money, put it in a duffel bag, went to the address, dropped the bag, and he also put a tracker in it. He left and watched to see where they go with it, right? Turned the tracker on and followed niggas. Boom, boom, boom. He get there, the boy Sam in there and the girl there. So he like, Sam, you really snatched my girl up for some bread? You really snatched my girl up for some bread? So Sam's like, how the fuck you get so fast? How the fuck you get so fast? Like, let my bitch go, let my bitch go. So Sam checks the money, but when he checked the money, he don't check the money thoroughly. You know how some niggas flip through the money? He wasn't doing none of that. He said, the money over here, cut her loose. So he cut her loose, right? The girl goes through the money. The girlfriend is running back to Jacob. The girl's like, this money is fake. This money is fake. Sam like, what? Sam pulls out his gun and he shoot his girlfriend. Boom. Shoot her. Right? Shoot her. Jacob loses it. Oh, my fucking God, you shot my girl. You shot my girl. They did. They leave. She thought she was dying. She got shot in the shoulder. He took her to the hospital. They patched her up. Like, what happened? She got shot in crossfire. I just brought her straight to the hospital. I didn't see who the shooters was. So he lied to the cops. And the nurse said she was going to pull through. And the nurse was like, did you know your girlfriend's pregnant? He's like, I didn't know. I almost lost my girl. I can't. It's when he realized he had to get out the game. So with this taking forward place now, him and Sam meet up. Right? Sam called him up like, yo, bro, I need to talk to you. At this point, Jacob didn't want to talk to him. He wanted to kill Sam. Sam was like, I come in peace, da-da-da-da, this and that and the third. I ain't mean no harm to shooting your girl. So what happens now is Sam's motive is to line Jacob. They know he the top dog. They trying to get him out of it. If they kill him, shit gonna be hot in the streets. And the girlfriend basically gonna tell who did it because Sam shot her. She already got to face the Sam. It's over for him. So when that happens is Sam lies and say, your cousin put me up to it. Your cousin wants you dead. That was your cousin, girl. This and that and the third. So he put the bug in Jacob's ear. Jacob like, all right, bet. Let's handle this nigga then. He like, for old time's sakes, he like, yeah. And we back to business. Sam was like, yup, back to business. So what happens is now they go to the spot. They see his cousin out. And they see his cousin lacking. He lacking out in the street, da-da-da-da. The girlfriend spot Jacob, like, oh shit, they go Jacob. Jacob popped out his gun, but he didn't pull the trigger. Sam's ended up pulling the trigger, shooting the cousin in the head tapping, boom, killing him. He shot the girlfriend, she didn't die. Sam ends up throwing the gun over there. And what happens now is he gets the girl to say Jacob did it. They lock Jacob up while the girlfriend's in the hospital. She gets out and finds out he in the hospital. He calls her, was like, yo, I'm locked up. They saying I killed such and such. He's like, who's saying it? The witness saying I did it, da-da-da-da. So, like I told you, the girl was a lawyer. She's becoming a lawyer and all that. And this is her first time, she took the balls in while Jacob was locked up, passed it, and became his lawyer to get him out of jail. Sam becomes the top dog of the town, and he also has a girl with him. Jacob's son is born, and just when you thought it was over, the girlfriend gets him out of jail because they find evidence that didn't point that it was Jacob. So she gets him out of jail. On the day of getting him out of jail, Sam finds out. And what happens now is Sam sends shooters. They do a drive-by while the baby and Sam and his girlfriend and Jacob is in the car. And they shoot the car up. Killing the girlfriend, killing the baby, and they paralyzed Jacob. So he was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Feel me? Fucked up. And, Jacob living his life in a wheelchair, lost his girlfriend, lost his baby. It's your boy Carter TV. I'm out. I gotta do a special shout out to Jason Fuller. If I'm saying your name right, pardon me. Shout out to Ellen Welcome. Miss Bird, I see you. Thank you. I appreciate you watching the stories. Shout out to Jasmine from Los Angeles. I see you. LA in the building. And shout out to According to Gene. Appreciate y'all watching my stories. I appreciate y'all, subbing to the channel. Really appreciate the support. Thank y'all. Love y'all, man. Love my supporters, man. Love my subscribers.